a good go. But for must have been, I suppose, all but 10 minutes, I think they had the lion's share of the ball. And, you know,
Yeah.
1-0 at half time, I think, was a generous reflection on what could have been.
Totally deserved as well. Totally deserved.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. Yeah. I thought that I thought we started the game. There was about 2 minutes where we had a bit of energy, and then we just went into this nervous shell and couldn't.
That's where.
Sorry, Steve.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say I think that's where they started playing like Chelsea do against us, and we have it like Arsenal do it, West Ham do it, Chelsea do it. Whenever they play Spurs, they up their game. They up the pressure. They play with much more intensity and and purpose and aggression. And we kind of play like we want to just dominate a game and hold the ball. And
we're too apathetic.
And nothing needs to change. We'll just keep playing the way we play.
Yeah,
and that should be sufficient to get us through the game. Which in these games is not going to be the case. We need to change. We need to.
Exactly.
This different scenario.
And we did start nervously, and what that meant was that it caused panic. When we couldn't get the ball, we started to panic. And although I didn't hear it, apparently people were saying that Conte was shouting, "Just calm down," all the way through that first half, because we couldn't put our passes together because we were panicking. As we saw in the first half, we saw Ben Davies getting the ball and spending too much time and then getting pressed, and he was losing the ball. And it was a matter of seconds, probably a split second, but it's so important. And he's trying to keep calm, but there's a balance between keeping calm and actually releasing the ball when you should do. So, we just didn't get our mentality right.
I owe Simon an apology, by the way. I pulled up this photo of the Sessegnon chance. I thought that we had better options at the top of the box. Clearly, I'm a moron and an American who calls it soccer.
No, maybe
even though it's a British word, even though it comes from association football.
We all call it that. Yeah.
But I thought that we had better options, but I think that only speaks. Did you guys feel that we just couldn't put together any offensive pressure?
No,
it's just always.
Well, we couldn't put together a pass.
We couldn't put together 3 passes.
Lots of turnovers, lots of very simple, oddly almost
scrappy. It was just scrappy stuff. Yeah,
like turnovers that I wouldn't expect from players that have the passing ability that these guys have. But like I was saying, there's a psychological effect to like Son getting bodied by Reece James over and over and over again. He's going to want to give that guy distance. He's not going to want to keep getting thrown to the pitch every single time.
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, Lee. I'll let you carry on in a minute, but I just want to put it out there that I reckon Simon just ran off screen to do a little fist pump. That Adam acknowledged that he was right. He's gone off screen, give it a little fist pump, came back in, regained his composure, back in the game.
My late father used to
say,
to err is human. My dad used to say, to err is human, but to really fuck things up, you need a computer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But that's only because we're British and we're so reserved. We have to get off camera before we do anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. I wasn't. So I was just unplugging something.
Sorry, Lee. Back to you.
So, I was going to say to Rich, do you think we were nervous, or do you think we were actually just over eager? What were your thoughts?
I thought it looked like we were being intimidated by the atmosphere quite quickly. I thought the first half performance was fucking terrible.
Well, we're being brutalised, do you think?
We were, yeah. But I did think, I sort of sat there through it, and I thought, like Steve said, we knew that they were going to come out with this high intensity, high pressure, performance at the early doors, and Conte must have known that as well. And I did wonder whether or not there was a bit of it that was, they maybe thought, right, they're going to come at us. It's 30 degrees outside. We need to contain them for half an hour, and then they'll start to tire, and we'll grow into the game. And perhaps that was a bit counterintuitive in that atmosphere, and what started off probably as quite a sensible plan quickly turned into a bloody disaster, because not only were they quite good at the high pressure, high press game, they systematically cut everything off. And every time we needed, they tried to push the play forwards, and frequently that happens by playing it into into their half with Kane with his back to their goal, you know, Silva or Koulibaly, whoever it was on him really quickly, and they turned the ball over really, really quickly. And so we never got a chance to spread ourselves out and get any space. And I think that started it rolling, and that's where the nerves came from. Because I wonder whether or not, you know, that was the expectation, but they, you know, they just maybe underestimated it, or is it that old army adage of, you know, well, there's the army adage, or Mike Tyson said it as well, didn't he? Everybody's got a plan till you get punched in the face. Yeah, you know, that's right, yeah. You know, maybe that was us just getting punched in the face.
Punch in the face, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the way they pressed, whenever we had the ball, they managed to get 2 or 3 players around the player and the ball. And when we went to press, it would be one player going to do the press, someone else would go and lock on or mark the nearest player, but we wouldn't kind of risk the fact that, you know, forget about the player, the furthest player away, just get the nearest players to the player on the ball, crowd them out with 2 or 3 players and try and win the ball back. And that was their thing. And Rich might be right about this whole, well, you know, it's 30 odd degrees, they're going to tire. But then when they needed to, they brought on Conor Gallagher, and he don't fucking stop running. And as soon as he came on, like my poor wife, she don't really give a fuck about football, but she was sat there watching it with me, and I'm like, he came on, I was like, for fuck's sake, you know, they brought on a fucking Duracell bunny who's going to fucking run, and we know he's just going to run, like, and he's up for it because he's got, first of all, it's Chelsea Tottenham. Secondly, he really wants to stake a claim in that side this season. Yeah. You know,
sorry, go on, Andy. Adam.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I was just saying, because I was thinking about what you just said. And it's interesting because both sides lined up 3-4-2-1. But what's really interesting is the fact that their back line contributed both of their goals. That's how high they were pressing and how capably the front were defending to allow that support, to allow, you saw, this is why I feel that Sessegnon has almost like that Adel Taarabt, Ruben Loftus-Cheek ability to, or Jack Grealish, to beat players one-on-one, to then dish. But I think you don't want him as a shooting threat. I don't think he's a viable shooting threat. But I think dribbling has always been his thing. But yet, if you look at their front three, and you look at Mount, you look at Havertz, you look at Sterling, they were in a very supportive or hold-up position, allowing this back line to come back. Whereas you look at our front three, Harry obviously contributed with that header, and luckily it looked like, based on the flight path, Richarlison might have hit it had he missed it. But Son and Kulusevski were effectively taken completely out of the game.
Yeah, they were.
And it seems that that's unheard of. Kulusevski being like, it was strange. Every pundit that always used to be like, whatever, Spurs scored. And oh my God, Mohamed Salah's strike has brought harmony to the universe and stopped global hunger. And, you know, and people go so crazy that it just seems that if they can neutralize that there either has to be that support from an overlapping run on the wing, but if you neutralize that front three and they're not able to contribute on a defensive, that's the thing with Koulibaly, is that he was contributing offensively as much as he was contributing defensively. You obviously saw Reece James. Remember, he dished into Havertz, who couldn't hit the G-spot on a 10-pound pussy, and then was able to sort of flip the script and allow Reece the chance to score. So I almost wish we had a broader defensive presence. Or, I mean, look, I know that one of the questions we talked about having was some kind of, recruitment question. Without Eriksen, without Modric, it's that midfield hinge that I think we're lacking right now. That when you play out from the back, that without Moussa Dembele, you know what I mean? Without Modric, without the great team.
We'll look at that. I think we'll look at, who do we still get after we've done this game, and we've got a couple of weeks left of the window, haven't we? So just actually, Simon, thinking about, we'll get on to actually some of the sort of evaluation of the players that changed the game or lack of soon. But I thought one of the things that just changed the game a little bit more in our favour, we got more of the ball, was when we went to a back four. And when we changed it around there tactically, I think that sort of brought us back in the game again. And I think later on we went back to a wing back system, didn't we? After that, once we'd sort of, brought on another, range of players as well. But do you feel the tactics had much of an impact at all? Or
well, I think so, because sort of in midfield we didn't really seem to have an awful lot. Really. So I think he had to do something in order to try and beef it up a bit so that we would try and gain more possession, because it really did look like there wasn't much going on. I mean, they were trying, but I think they were just getting out. They were getting outmaneuvered. So
he had
to
do swamped, weren't they, in midfield?
Yeah, exactly,
that's why I think he had to change.
Overloaded.
Yeah. Exactly. So he had to do something so that we'd have a fighting chance of getting some decent possession and turning that into something.
Yeah.
But I don't think he liked doing it, because I think he's only got a certain number of people plays on the pitch. He's more worried about having defensive weaknesses and thinking, well, let's just make sure we don't concede too many or any more, and we'll make something come up front. It's the old kind of win at home, don't lose away type thing. So I suppose in Conte's mind, he's thinking, all right, let's not get completely mullered, and hopefully we can turn something out of it, and then then we'll see where we get to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if we just quickly look at our goals as well, then I think we kind of got the rub of the green on a couple of those goals, because in other games they might have been disallowed because of fouls beforehand or issues leading up to them. But I mean, I think rightly they stood, but I would not have been surprised if they were VAR'd off or something. They after me slating Højbjerg for a really kind of pretty much a useless performance in that first half. He pops up and scores the opening goal for us. Thoughts on that, Andy?
Well, actually, before he scores that goal, he puts Kane through, doesn't he, with a peach of a pass. And when we talk about creativity, he has creativity. We see him do it every now and again. He's not doing it every hour or half an hour like Eriksen, but he's picking out passes pretty regularly for us.
So what you're saying is I'm talking shit, and actually,
well, I just wanted to make that point really, but yes, you are talking shit. But with regards to the goals, I think the complaint for the first goal, for Højbjerg's goal, was that Richarlison was in the sight line of the keeper, but he wasn't. They showed that on the replay, and that just was never going to stand anyway.
Sorry. Before you carry on,
yep. Am I talking shit?
No. But have you seen the tweet by? I'm not going to name the Twitter handle, but there's a Chelsea account that has put a tweet out about that goal and has used two equal sized chairs to
no, I haven't. I heard about this. Yeah.
To show how you can't see one chair from a different position because the other chair is obstructing it, and then shown 4 or 5 4 different angles of Mendy's position in relation to to the shot and stuff.
Right. Obviously, a lot of people have a lot of time on that. Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say.
Some of us have lives.
He has a lot of time on his hands, this guy.
The absolute levels that they've gone to. I'm not sure what they're hoping to achieve, because it's not going to reverse the decision. But hey, I just thought it was fantastic.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous, isn't it?
And second goal was that like a Vio masterclass, I think, the fact that we actually score from a set piece.
Yeah.
Perisic is whipping, a corner kick.
Well, first of all, he's taking it with his left foot.
Yeah.
And he's delivering better than he does with his right, because his first corner was shit.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
It was an Eriksen style one, wasn't it? The first one.
Yeah, it was. Didn't even beat the first box.
So go on, Steve.
I would ask or question whether the I know obviously we all like to think that Mr. Shithouse himself came up with that tactic of trying to de-wig Cucurella, but I would ask if that is also part of Mr. Vio, whatever his name is his plans, is because at my club we had a guy, an old school coach there,